Let's get acquainted with the functionality and capabilities of the TMS IBM Rinkai system. To do so, let's build test routes and then analyze their implementation. For that, we're going to use the demo warehouse and let's go step by step for each tab. What do we see here? This is the first tab, which calls depots. Depots is all warehouses that you have in your company and that's going to use your TMS system. You can switch between each of the warehouse and to work with one exact warehouse, you should just click on this warehouse and activate by clicking the button activate. If you want to edit some warehouses at another geo coordinates or address, you can do it by clicking the button edit. All information that is needed to know for the DMS system to build the roads is only geo coordinates of the warehouse because systems should know when and where the warehouse can serve the car. Let's go to the next step is depot capacities. Basically, this is the warehouse capabilities. This shows you a performance schedule that can in time period provide us with the warehouse. So basically it gives you the number, how many cars can be loaded at the same time. In this example, in this demo example, we can see that from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. there can be loaded only one car at the same time. Then we're going to three, and then we're going to four. It's important to mention that you can switch the mode of warehouse, how many cars can be loaded for each exact day. For example, in working days, there can be like more warehouse capabilities, and in weekends, it can be much less. So you can change it by in settings. Also here in the left, you can see that in the table you can set the time for the amount of RAMs that can be loaded at the same time. Each 5 minutes can include this information. Let's go ahead to the next tab is locations. Locations is basically locations of all your customers. We have points that are characterized by code to synchronize with the accounting system. It's right here. Then we can see the customer name, the address of the customer, and geocoordinates. Um, Geocoordinates is really important to know in order to help system to know where car are going to be unloaded. Also, we can see here time window in the Gantt diagram, which helps you to see the blocks when the location is going to be open. Here in the demo data, you can see only one block, but you can put two or three blocks if there is some like lunch times or breaks in the location. So system is going to take it into consideration while it's going to build the roads, because it will avoid the delivery at the time of the lunch to avoid some like waiting time, wasted time on the point. Um, the another column is administrative time. Basically, administrative time is all time which is dedicated for parking the car, filling the documentation, and unloading the car and going outside of the territory of the location, and etc. So basically, you set this time by units. By choosing the unit, you can, for example, set that like for this exact amount of minutes, you can unload this exact amount of kilograms. You can put it here, so system's gonna automatically estimate the average administrative time for per each location per each order. Um, let's go to the orders. Locations orders, they have kind of similar information between each other. Only new columns is weight and volume. You can see also it's in the Gantt diagram. You can see the amount of kilograms that should be delivered to in this order to the client. Uh, how we integrate orders and locations with accounting system. Basically, we can import every file from the CSV documents, web services, or Excel. We can integrate it with your API system. Uh, so all orders and locations gonna be imported to TMS system easily. Also, if you have some extra orders locations, you can add it right here by clicking the bottom add. You can add here any clients with this number to synchronize with accounting system and time it customer if it's needed, some comments additional, and etc. 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 Um, okay, let's go ahead to the vehicles. Vehicles tab is there is all information about car that actually delivery orders. So let's get deeper into example of one car. I'm gonna explain you or all parameters that is needed to know for the system to plan all roads. The basic parameter is basically all information about the vehicle. There is a state number, career directory, name of the driver, source of GPS data, and from the source of GPS data, we're gonna receive actual data on how the car drove the road. This may be our Rinkai routing application. You can also track there from our application for drivers. I'm gonna talk about it a bit later, as well as it may be a stationary tracking system in the form of self-stationary GPS trackers or those that are included in the cigarette lighter, for example. So basically, this is GPS provider that's gonna give us information about the location, actual location of the vehicle. Availability time and like all just basic information about the vehicle. Let's go into the dimensions of the car, because dimensions is a really important parameter because it gives you the list of roads this car can move. By setting the gross weight, load capacity, volume, and some third parameters that is needed, uh, the system is gonna take into consideration while it's gonna plan the roads, because there are some restrictions in some cities for exact amount of cars, for exact weight of the car, volume, blah blah blah. So it's gonna give the image how car is going to be in the road. So it's important to set these parameters. So it's just going to determine those roads based on the weight and size characteristic that can car go, or if there are some signs of restrictions and etc. Also, you can set here maximum roads per vehicle, maximum stops per road if there is some like policy in your business, and if it's needed, you can set it here. Then we're going to time. Time, you can just limit and reconfigure the time of the use of the car or driving. So it's basically work hours of the driver. You can set speed indicators for the speed of movement, loading and unloading from of the client, and some characteristic with for this particular car. You can see it here in percentage equivalent. Also, you can set here the lunch break for the driver, and also system is going to take into account while it's going to plan the road. So at lunchtime, there will be no delivery points on the driver's account. Let's go into the costs, because costs it's one of the main tabs on the profile of the car. Basically, this is the costs matrix with which the use of this car is associated. So, summarizing all these indicators, according to the parameters of the road, we can calculate the full cost while the parameters are considered all at once. Here you can set the salary of the driver. You can see cost per kilometer, cost per hour, per stop, per rate. It depends on the policy of your company, on the motivation that you give to the driver. So depending on how the cost matrix is configured for each car, the system with the same capacity parameters and so on chooses the most economically suitable car. Let's go to the advanced parameter. Advanced parameter is basically contacts. It includes contact information of the driver. It can then be broadcasted to the customer in messages or emails, indicating the contact details of the driver of the car. So in this topic, I would love to cover the topic of the delivery application, with which the driver can constantly work while he delivers the order. So, an easy way to explain how does it work, how does the application works. We have a list of delivery points which going to be loaded every morning before the working day. And from this application, you can navigate between all delivery points. Also, if delivery wasn't successful, the driver can set the reason why it wasn't successful. There could be some reasons. For example, the delivery point was closed, or etc., etc. So you can set it in advance, all these reasons, and driver can choose between each other. Also, with this information you're going to provide it here, the driver can contact with customers. For example, if there's some traffic jams, or like the vehicle is broken unexpectedly. So from these parameters, the driver can call to the customer, and if it's needed, if you have such policies in the company, this call can be recorded, so you can improve the client service, which is also really important if you work with clients. So you just should set here the mail and phone of the driver in order for to help the driver to contact with all your clients. Also, you can set in advance the messages that can be sent it. For example, if driver 100% knows that he's going to be late in the next delivery point, then he just automatically send this message that I'm going to be late for like 30 minutes, for example. That's basically it. It's all data that is needed for planning the roads. Let's go ahead into the planning mode. And right now we're going to see how the system plans all these roads and all delivery points into. To do so, we should choose all orders that need to be delivered at the exact day. For example, in our case, it's 14th of August, and click the button apply. When we're clicking the button apply, it applies all orders into the unplanned stops. Right now, we can see here in this interface, we can see such image. This is the map with all delivery points marked on it. Right now, it's not packed into the roads, but right now we're gonna do that. Also, we can see vehicle utilizations, basically like how many vehicles are available for planning with different load capacities, which we introduced earlier. Also, we have warehouse capacity, excuse me, and unplanned stops. Right now, we can plan all unplanned stops into different roads. To do so, the logist, which is going to work with the TMS system, he just need to click the button optimize and wait a couple of seconds. And all 336 unplanned delivery points going to be packed into different roads. This ensures, on the one hand, compliance with all previously introduced restrictions, and on the other hand, it shows the amount of cost required to the delivery of our orders with available resources in the form of transport. So all tariffs are taken into account, those that are correspond to these machines, and as soon as the system finds a more profitable solution in the terms of money, we immediately see a decrease in the total cost. So right now, as you can see, for 336 delivery points, it's going to take system like no more than 30 seconds to plan all roads, and all these roads going to be packed into different roads. Let's wait. So here we go. We have planned all roads. And right now in our map, we can see it's interactive map. We can see all these vectors, which shows you how this road's gonna be built. It's important to mention that Logist can choose that whatever sequence of delivery point that he wants to do. So it's just right now we can see the suggestion from the system, and if he wants to change something, reconfigure the road or do whatever he wants, he can do that right here, or he can re-optimize it here, and the system just gonna give a hint how much money he can save on that or how much money he will waste on that. It's gonna be in this left top corner. So let's go step by step. What do we see here? We can see all planned roads. In our case, we can see 20 planned roads. For each road, we have the amount of stops. And by clicking on each road, we can see all clients that are included into this road. So let's get to the example of the third road. We can see that it includes 17 points. We can see how it looks like in the interactive map. It's orange vector. And we can see here all clients that we have. And if we're going to zoom in, and just click on one of the client, we can see where this client is located. So as you can see, we can just switch between each other delivery points, and we can see here all these hints. For example, we're gonna waste $51 if we're gonna deliver to client 18 before client 303. So basically, it's all information that needs to be taken into consideration, because logist can do whatever he wants with the system, but it's gonna just give a hint. What do we see in the roads? We can see the start and end of the road. We can see the wait time. Basically, the wait time is the sum of all time that the driver is gonna wait in this exact road from seven, like in our case, from 10:19 to 17:25. It's gonna be only 2 minutes. Then the usage of the car, the drives of the car. It's like the time which he spends exactly on just driving between delivery points. The mileage and utilization in weight and volume. It's going to be in percentage equivalent. As you can see here, we can overload the car for 9%. Because it depends on the good that you deliver. Also, we can see here absolute numbers. 1,628 kilograms going to be delivered by this exact car. And that's all information that you need to know about roads. Also, I want to add that you can view all roads in the map. It looks like that. So you can zoom in, zoom out. You can see the sequence of all delivery points. And you can basically change here the sequence that if you need. Also, it's really important to mention that here the OpenStreetMap, the cartography that we use currently, it takes into account more than 15 limits while it builds a road. So as you can see here, this is a speed limit map, and the car is gonna plan the road in the best way that it thinks so. So it's gonna choose the fastest way to deliver all roads, and it's gonna be synchronized with all clients and all users of the OpenStreetMap. So basically, the main principle of the OpenStreetMap that everyone shares their experience between each other. It helps each other to work better with this cartography. We can switch between the roads in this inside interface. And we can see that here, for example, the red circle is the warehouse, and we can see the sequence of all delivery points. Also, it's important to mention that we can analyze if each of the roads by clicking the button of analyze. For example, let's get into this example of this client number 248. For example, there are some cases when in the one area there are like most of the delivery points, and there's one area, one delivery point in the middle of nowhere. So system gives you a hint. If you're gonna skip this client, then you're gonna save $458, for example. It gives you the image that you can just negotiate with this client and postpone delivery to this client for the next day. We can delete this stop from the road, and right now when it's going to be deleted, we can see here that we're going to save by deleting this point in the from the road. We can save $489. So this unplanned stop is going to be planned for the next day, but for right now we can save this amount of money. And we can do it with every road, and there are different other parameters depending on what do you need to analyze. Let's go deeper into the stops that you have in each road. We have the numbers to synchronize with the accounting system, and it gives you the image, which number of this in the sequence this delivery point is going to be loaded. After that, it's not a number, name of the client, and the mileage between the last point and the next point. So let's get it deeper into this example. Demo UA, this is the warehouse from which the car is gonna start the road. System analyzed that drivers should arrive to the warehouse at 8:17. because from the depot capacity utilization, the warehouse can be available. Then they're gonna spend 19 minutes to load the car, and it can go ahead to the next delivery point. Until the next delivery point is 7 kilometers. The driver is gonna spend the exact amount of minutes in the road, and he's gonna arrive to the next delivery point at 8:49. He's gonna spend there 8 minutes 57 minutes, or 8 hours. He's gonna leave this point at 8:57, and he's gonna spend there no more than 12 minutes. Here you can see also the time window and these red lines. The wider is red line, the more time the driver is going to spend in the client. So basically, it's administrative time, this red line. Also, we can see the weight and the volume for each of the client's order. And from this parameter, it's calculated the administrative time, this red line. Also, you can re-optimize all these roads by clicking this button: free road start times, fixed road start times, and etc. So again, the logists can just play with the TMS system in this way. So basically, that's it from the planning mode. After we plant all roads, we can go and export all these roads into the plans. So when we plant all the roads, we click this button, we export it in the whatever format that you need, and it's gonna appear right here. From this tab, we gonna compare plan and fact. It's gonna be analysis with the data which is gonna be taken from GPS trackers. Okay, let's go and analyze planet fact. So here we can see all road plans, which is saved, and it briefly describes all characteristics that correspond to it. We can see the amount of vehicles, roads, stops, and some delivery points which are outside the time window, the overall mileage, duration of the road, and the cost of the road. So to analyze the plan and fact, we can choose like whatever plan and click the bottom GPS. We will wait a couple seconds, and system starts collecting data from all GPS devices, and as well as it's to automatically compare those parameters of the plan and the fact that we have for each road of each vehicle. Here we can see all vehicles that actually delivered all orders. And after this automatic comparison, we see for each car that parameters we had. For example, the car with this state number, um, we can see the planned mileage. It's written the difference is like 5 minutes, or it's 45 kilometers. Also, we can see the average time at points. We can see the average speed and the difference between plan and fact. Also, we can see like all parameters which is can be considered while we compare the plan and actual driver's experience. Apart from that, we can see the list of all delivery points that look like blocks in the Gantt diagram. They're colorful. So basically, all green blocks are delivery points which were delivered successfully without late arrival or early arrival. All red blocks are not delivered points. All yellow points um, are blocks which were delivered either with the late arrival or early arrival. With this exclamation mark, this is a delivery point which was delivered with later arrival. And by clicking into each block, we can see overall information about the client, the address of the client, the time window, arrival time, departure time, duration that driver spent in the driver in the locations of this client, and etc. Let's get deeper into the example of this table. For example, let's choose this vehicle. All delivery points were completed successfully, and we can see here, first of all, how he delivered all delivery points, and also we can see how actually the road was completed. We can see here, let's switch in the example which not correspond to the plan. Here we can see the blue vector, which means that the driver, how he was supposed to drive this road, and the red vector, orange vector, it means how he actually drove this road. All these the delivery points are green because he actually delivered that, and it doesn't matter if he didn't follow the plan, if he delivered all points. As you can see here, these two delivery points were delivered not at the time because it's orange, but overall everything else is green. Also, it's interactive map. You can switch between all roads in the inside interface. Okay, let's get deeper into this table. We can see here that we have the list of all clients that was served by this driver. We can see that what's happened in real life. The client with this name, with this address, the driver arrived to the client at 8:25, and the delay was even lower. So he arrived 17 minutes earlier than he was expected, and the departure time is 8:28. The delay 19 minutes. So the duration that he spent in the client's location, the administrative time was 3 minutes, and it's 1 minute less than he was expected to do so. Um, After that, we're going to the next client. We can see that he completed it successfully, but for example, with the third client, he was supposed to, in plan, he was supposed to deliver to this client in the third place, but he delivered in 25th place. We can see here that he didn't deliver to this point successfully because he didn't filter into the time window. He was supposed to arrive at 8:40, but he didn't arrive. We can see here the minus. And if we're gonna zoom the map, then we can see here where this happens. We can see that this red delivery point is in the red circle. And by doing that, we can just check all clients and all actual time and how drivers serve the client. Apart from this visual part, we can get into the deeper analysis by clicking the bottom analysis. We can see here the actual mileage, the average time at stop, the roads and paired positions and paired stops, arrival outside the time window, time at customer shorter, time at customer exceeded. So here is all information that is needed to control the customer service, first of all, and control all drivers, because here it's highlighted all good parameters with a green light color, and all bad parameters with the red color. Going to the type of service, we can see here right now, unfortunately, we can't see any information because this is the demo data, but here is going to be all information from the mobile application for the driver. So here we can see all points that were delivered or weren't delivered. As I mentioned earlier, the driver can choose the reason why it wasn't delivered, and we can see that it's reason right here in the comments. So from here, we can analyze all information that drivers set it in the mobile application. Also, we can see all unfinished activities. For example, the documentation wasn't signed or whatever happened. There are a lot of unfinished activity that might happen in the real life. Then some images, maybe some of our clients, they use images in order to guarantee that the delivery point was completed successfully. Some drivers should take some images or signatures. Also, signatures sometimes is necessary. So it depends on your needs. Um, and also, I want to mention that also the system takes into consideration unpaired positions. Unpaired positions is basically stops outside the plan. the driver may perform in the road. So you can see exactly how the driver made the road, and we can see this like in our case. We can see these gray points. It means that this is the stops outside the plan. We can see how many minutes he spent on this point, the joy coordinates of these points. We can go to the map, Google Maps or OpenStreetMaps or any other source that you need, and we can see at what time this unplanned stops happened. It helps you to control the driver, first of all, because it gives you the total control on the driver's activities until they plan. And again, if we put that the driver has a lunch between 2 to 3 p.m., then it won't be taken into consideration that this is unplanned stop, because actually it's planned stop from 2 to 3 p.m. This vehicle won't work, basically. All right, that's all information that you need to know about the plan and fact analysis. Right now, let's go to the model analysis. Also gives you the image of plan and fact analysis, but it's much deeper analysis. This is a model analysis between plan and fact. This is a really powerful tool that allows you to totally control all your logistic processes in the business by quantitative and qualitative indicators. Um, we have different dashboards that are in charge of absolutely different parameters. There is a plan and fact analysis, client service, class geography, costs for logistic processes, drivers rating, depot rating, data rating KPIs, dynamic extra mileage reasons, and etc. So the first dashboard, you can see here the number of all indicators diagrams that can be adapted directly to the task and needs of your company, because the first dashboard is dashboard with all mixed information from the different dashboards, which could be controlled regularly, so daily, monthly, weekly, but this is all information that is needed to know in the regular basis. So I won't be really focused on that. Let's go deeper into the example of all other dashboards. So this is the dashboard of the comparison between plan and actual. Basically, here we can see the more detailed and reinforced by a table information that displays as the final data for like each warehouse. We can click to the plus, and we will see all information only about this warehouse. So basically, we can see the information about the count of roads, count of unfinished roads, plan of the mileage, and actual mileage. And it's going to be calculated the difference in the percentage equivalent. Also, it will be the right sequence of delivery points will be also controlled, and it will be given to you in the percentage equivalent. Also, we can control all this data for the dates for different vehicles or different drivers. So let's do it by vehicles, for example. We can check how many roads were completed by each vehicle, how many kilometers were driven by each vehicle, and etc. So here's all information that you need to know about the work of all drivers in your company. Then extra mileage. Let's delete this functional, yeah. We can see here extra mileage. We can see cost per kilogram and plan and in effect. Also, we can see the mileage which was planned and actually happens. Here, as you can see, it's almost similar. In the 1st of August in 2021, the actual mileage was even lower than planned. So it's also, you can by this way control how actual logistic processes are happening in your company. Stops of sequences. We can see all names, last names of all drivers and how they follow the sequence of all delivery points. As any other diagram in the model analysis, you can choose different parameters in order to analyze this exact diagram. For example, right now we analyze the stop sequences by the percentage equivalent and the names of drivers. But we can analyze it, for example, but not by name of drivers, but by vehicles, for example, if it's more important. So we can control it right here, or by weeks, or by date. So it doesn't matter. But all you need to know, this old diagram that you see here right now, you can see that in different parameters if it's needed, and it just depends on the all needs that you have. Let's go ahead into the next dashboard. Next dashboard, this is the client service. So basically, since we deliver some products, we need to know how it was actually happening, how, like, in the what level we have the client service. We can see here the visit by status. Here we can see the amount of delivery points which were delivered in time, which weren't completed at all, which were completed but with the late arrival, and which were completed by the early arrival. And we can see this information for each month or each date. Again, you can just personalize it by your needs. Then you can see here the name of all locations that needs to be delivered, and we can see here the level of client service right there. For example, counts of visits overall in plan and in fact. So the difference is only one, for example, in this case. Also, we can see the average arrival time, average loading time. So by this way, we can control how do we work with our clients. Also, we can see the late visit share in order to improve the situation. Let's go to the next dashboard. Next dashboard gives you information about client's geography. It depends uh, on the weight of the good that you deliver. Also, you can choose any another parameter to doing so. Right now, we can see actual costs in total, which was spent for each client. For example, for the name of this client, we spent 614,000 dollars, for example. Also, we can choose different parameters. For example, cost per kilogram in plan and cost per kilogram in actual life. As we can see here, just a bit there is difference. Also, there are delivery segments visited by status, as we saw earlier in the previous dashboard. So here's all information that is needed to know for you, first of all, to know to where you mostly deliver all orders. Um, okay, let's go ahead to the next diagrams. This is the costs. This is the cost analysis. Here we can see the total costs in plan and fact per kilogram, or overall. For example, here we can see this cost in total in actual. We have this image, but if we're gonna switch on the plan, we can see that it's completely changed. Also, we can see the cost structure in plan and in fact. Cost total, it was 25.96 million. Actually, it happened at 25.37 million. And right now we can compare different parameters. For example, cost per kilometer in plan and in fact, cost per kilogram in plan and in fact, cost per hour in plan and in fact, and etc. etc. So you can set here any parameters. Also, you can see the cost for different delivery segments if you have so. And also you can count the of orders of all visits overall and cost per kilogram, and locations as well. The next dashboard is the driver's rating. Driver's rating is really powerful tool to give the motivation to the drivers. So basically, by setting exact KPIs for each driver, you can estimate the total score of each driver. For example, in our case, we have a driver named Alexander, and his total score is 97.6. Why it's 97.6? Because we set in the settings that like the driver with the best result of visits without delay is gonna get like this exact amount of points, and etc etc. So by setting all KPIs that are necessary to be taken into consideration while you give the motivation to the drivers, they will be taken into the total score. So you can see here the best drivers, the worst drivers, and by doing so you can have the overall image, which drivers are actually used properly the TMS system, the driver application, because there are some drivers who can't use it properly just because of some personal reasons. You can see the mileage that was completed by each driver, the plan and the actual. As you can see here, the difference is not really big, only 16 kilometers. And you can see it for each driver, and every parameter, which you can see here, can be adapted on your needs. Let's go to the next dashboard. This is a depot trading. Basically, it's what you saw in the first dashboard. You can see here and compare all warehouses that you use currently, how they properly use the system, how what's the average amount of vehicles per day per road. For example, average vehicle utilization and in terms of weight, and blah blah blah. So here is all information for you to compare warehouses between each other. Also, we can see here, for example, the rate of sequence of delivery points. We can see here that in Kharkov, this warehouse with this name, drivers from which were loaded in this warehouse, they follow the sequence of all delivery points more properly for 98%. Meanwhile, Odessa followed only for 83%. So by this way, you can just know where you have some gaps, some problems in which aspects, so you can improve exactly these moments in each warehouse. Let's go ahead to the next warehouse. Rating KPI dynamics, it's exactly the same that we saw right now. It depends on the warehouse. As we can see, Kharkiv warehouse is much better than Odessa's. Also, we can see extra mileage reasons. Here you can set the reasons why some drivers like overdrive and they had extra mileage. Here you can set some reasons, and you can see also numbers how many kilometers were overdriven. Also, you can see here, like in the diagrams in the pie chart, the situation, why does it happens. For example, there were some mistakes in the map or some mistakes in GPS trackers and blah blah blah. So here you can see the percentage equivalent, all reasons why the extra mileage was happened, and all stops outside the plan. As we already discussed it in the TMS system, we can see here all stops, for example, by each date. For example, in the 6th of April 2021, we can see that all these cars, they completed the unplanned stops. And we can see that by date, for example, at 7 a.m., the vehicle with this state number, and the 6th of April, he completed the unplanned stop at 7 a.m., and it happened from the warehouse Odessa. In the map, we can see that where it's happened exactly, and we can control for each date all these nuances. That's it. That's it for the model analysis. As you can see, it's really powerful tool if you want to totally control all logistic processes in your company.